most of them only slightly, when a train pulling out of the station hit another head-on just before 10 o'clock. BR have set up an inquiry, but already the cause seems to have been problems in the system of manual signalling, which was underway while the automatic signals were being repaired. Peter McNerney reports.
The 9:26 train from Huddersfield to Wakefield, which was running half an hour late, hit the Scarborough to Liverpool service just yards outside Huddersfield station. That train had been waiting to enter the station, and because of the slow speed, the trains weren't derailed. 23 people were injured. 2 have been detained in Huddersfield Royal Infirmary. The most seriously hurt is a 46-year-old train guard from Huddersfield, who's worked on the railways for 31 years.
We've gone about roughly a third of a mile and quarter of a mile, something like that. And I suddenly saw the driver in the front coach, obviously saying something to the passengers what were at his end. And then all of a sudden there was an almighty bang, and I sent to collide with everything and finished up on the floor.
The 2 damaged trains were in a siding at Huddersfield Station today. As BR and the British Transport Police launched investigations, the system of manual signalling is already being examined. The station's automatic signals are currently out of action and are set at red while modernisation work is carried out. Flags and verbal signals are used in the daytime to give trains the all clear. Lights are used at night. And points are changed manually on the tracks.
The system, by and large, is fully reliable, provided all people carry out the appropriate safety precautions that are laid down. Obviously, something went wrong last night. We are going to have a full inquiry to determine what went wrong and to make sure that if there are any lessons that can be learned from that, we apply them in the future.
The investigation comes on the day the report into the Clapham rail disaster, in which 35 people died last December, is published. It's highly critical of BR's working practices, which led to faulty signal wiring. BR say no parallels can be drawn between the 2 incidents. The results of the investigation into last night's collision in Huddersfield should be sent to the Department of Transport by the...
23 people were injured when 2 trains collided at Huddersfield Station. British Transport Police have launched a separate inquiry into the accident.
The 2 trains collided just before 10 o'clock last night on tracks outside the station. A train from Scarborough bound for Liverpool was standing at signals waiting to enter when it was in collision with a train leaving the station bound for Wakefield. The force of the impact threw some passengers from their seats. Of the 23 people treated in Huddersfield Royal Infirmary after the accident, 2 people remain in hospital. The condition of passenger Raymond Peach is described tonight as stable. The guard of the Wakefield-bound train received head and neck injuries in the crash.
I noticed the driver in the front coach, and immediately I knew there was something wrong, and seemingly were telling the people in the front coach to get on the floor, but there was just me and a lady in the back, and we had no chance because we didn't know what was going to happen. And that was it, an almighty bang, and I finished up on the floor. And
automatic signals on the track were out of action at the time of the crash. Manual signals are being used while a £1 million modernisation programme is carried out. A driver has to wait at a signal before being told verbally to go ahead. British Rail says communication between the signal box and workmen on the track appears to have broken down.
There does appear, however, to perhaps have been a failure of communications or a failure to carry out instructions correctly. That will be investigated.
Huddersfield MP Barry Shearman says the collision highlights British Rail's poor safety standards.
I'm deeply concerned because this could have been on a smaller scale another Clapham junction, and so I want a short, sharp inquiry to find out precisely what would happen, and so we can stop it happening again.
British Rail denies that the system of manual signals is compromising safety.
Obviously, it is not as safe as a full signalling system, but as there is a need to modernise the signalling equipment because it's reaching the end of its normal working life, we have obviously got to modernise that equipment while at the same time running trains safely. And the system of hand signalmen works very efficiently, but obviously not quite as safely as a full mechanical system.
A formal inquiry will be held by British Rail into the crash on Thursday. A report's expected to go to the Department of Transport by the end of the week. A separate Transport Police inquiry has also been launched, which will decide whether there will be any criminal proceedings arising from the crash.